Today we're going to take a look at the LANDR FX Suite, which is a plugin mixing bundle. And yes, you heard me, it's by LANDR. Hey, what's going on, my friend? Chris Salim here from Mixdown Online. Let's start this one right away and look at these plugins by LANDR. Now, to be transparent with you, LANDR sent me those plugins a few weeks ago so I can try them out myself and is officially sponsoring this video. So this video is sponsored by LANDR. With that said, all my opinions and views on these plugins are mine. Now, LANDR is known for their online mastering service, and I actually made a video talking about online mastering versus having a human to master a song. So I'm gonna leave the link down below and also on top if you wanna watch this video. And on top of offering a mastering service, LANDR came out with some mixing plugins that we are gonna look at right now. So if we go on the LANDR website, this is an overview of these plugins, which are one knob plugins, meaning that they are very simple to use. There's only one main control, which is that big knob that we have in the center of each of these plugins. So we have one plugin that is dedicated to acoustic instruments, and we also have another version of the same plugin suite that is dedicated to bass instruments, beats for drums, loops and stuff, electric guitars, synths, and so on, and also voice, the LANDR FX Voice, which is obviously good for vocals. Now you can buy these plugins for $29 each, or get the full bundle for $99. But if you have the LANDR All Access Pass, these plugins are included. So let's jump in CUBASE and have a quick listen to the song we're gonna work on today, which is just a bunch of tracks and just a quick recording that I did to work with my YouTube videos, so this way I don't get any copyright claims. So let's have a listen. If we open the LANDR Beats, because I'm going to start with the kick drum on this one. Now, all the plugin versions will have the same kind of layout, only the color is going to be different, and of course, the presets. So the way that works, we have that big control, which is the dry and wet knob, which is going to blend the dry signal with the full processed signal. So if you bring this one to the right at 100%, you will get the full processed signal. And the processing comes from these presets, which are into different categories. So if I open the LANDR FX Beats, I have, to begin with, the drum kit presets, and then we have a kick category for kick drums, one for snare. Again, we have a bunch of presets per category, one for cymbals, one, for EQ, and one for effects, which can be cool, actually. So I'm going to go and listen to the kick drum on its own. Let me just try the big kick preset. Now I'm using that preset at 100%. Let me bypass that room for now. There you go. If I bypass it, okay, huge difference. Okay, now the idea on working with these types of one knob plugins is not necessarily to use them at 100%. That's why that knob is so big. It's meant to be played with, and it's meant to balance that processed signal with the dry signal, just to add a bit more flavor, character, vibe, tone to the existing signal, whether your signal is a dry one or a mixed signal. Okay, so this is the kind of plugin that you can add at the beginning of the chain or even after your main processing is done, just to add a bit more color and character, so that can be used this way. But in my case, I have nothing on that kick drum. Let's listen in the context of the mix. That works pretty well. Okay, let me solo this again and try another preset. Deep kick, dark saturated kick. That's interesting. Punchy kick. kick slap is actually pretty cool. That can actually sound good. If I bypass it. Kind of like that, very tight. Okay, cool, I'm gonna keep it. And that gives a lot of tightness to my kick sound, which works great for this music. If I look at the snare, I also added a preset, a deep snare preset on this one. The cool thing with these little hearts that we have on the side is that when there's a preset that you like a lot, that you're actually planning on working with later on, you can favorite that preset by clicking on that heart symbol. What's going to happen is the next time you're going to open the plugin and click on the heart on top, it will show you all your favorite presets, which is nice to work with. Okay, so let's listen to the deep snare, and let's first listen to the snare dry. I like that. And again, there's several other presets that I could experiment with. That's pretty cool. Yeah, but the deep one is the one that I like the most for this one. Okay, I have my mix bus, which is the just like all the drum sounds, like the kick snare, the room, and the overhead, which are routed straight into this mixed drum bus channel. And I'm gonna add a LANDR on this one as well, to just add a bit more of a kind of a vibe to the whole drum mix. So the preset is sustained drums. If I bring that louder. So at 100%, it's way too much. You know, but if I blend it correctly in a very balanced way, it's gonna add a very cool vibe. So there's compression on that preset. You know, those presets are a combination of different types of effect, not necessarily one effect. It's like spices. I love barbecuing, I love smoking some ribs and briskets and stuff. I'm gonna, you know, make my own rub, you know, with a blend of different spices that I'm gonna, you know, make on my own. But sometimes, you know, I can use this type of stuff, which is a blend of spices that is its own kind of rub, you know. And I can use only that on my meat, but I can also just add that up on whatever I added myself, you know, just to add a bit more flavor. So I see these types of plugins that are based on presets, you know, like this type of rub. So anyways, let's listen to the room. This one is actually a good one also. That's pretty nice. But I kind of like this one. I can hear that compression. That is actually pretty nice. Okay, let's listen in the context of the mix. Now the room. Yeah, a bit more lively with the sustained drums. More tight, you know, more in your face. So I'm gonna keep it this way. And again, it's always a matter of, you know, getting that sweet spot as far as the dry and wet balance goes. Okay, let's listen to the bass. I added some LANDR bass on the bass guitar. Now on this one, we have mix tools as a category with a bunch of different presets. We also have amp effects to get a bass amp sound, modulation effects with chorus, phasing and stuff. and mix tools, which is the first category that we started with. So I'm going to select presence and air, bring that down, and blend that over. Nice. I think the preset is named the correct way. It adds some air and presence, and I kind of sense a bit more tightness on the on low frequencies of that bass. If I listen to this bass in the context of the music, nice. I get kind of a fuller, more present bass for this mix. Sounds pretty good. So I can actually live with that easily. What I also did, I added an effects channel where I sent a signal into, and I inserted on that effects channel another instance of LANDR FX Bass. Up to now, I used the LANDR FX plugin as an insert on a track, but you can also use that on an effects channel track as a send effect and bring the blend to 100%. And you blend that up with the dry signal with your effects channel's fader. And this is what I did here. So I did two things. On top of the plugin, I also high-passed the signal, the incoming signal going into the plugin. So this way, I'm just affecting everything above 300 hertz or something. And I added that bar amp preset, which is actually pretty cool, just to add a bit more saturation, distortion, grit to the bass sound. So if I listen to that sound on its own, this is what I get. And if I blend this with the original sound, this is what I get. That's nice. Okay, cool. So this is what I did for the bass. Let's jump on the acoustic guitar, which is an acoustic guitar virtual instrument. So it's not a real guitar that I recorded myself. It was just for the purpose of this video. On this one, I added a parallel sat comp, which is basically parallel compression and saturation. And if we listen to the acoustic guitar without LANDR FX Acoustic, I'm gonna add the plugin. I get the more of an upfront feel. I can use different presets. On this one, I'm into the effects category. I can jump to the EQ one. Also, like this one, for example, this is a guitar sound that has a lot of presence. So if I want to cut that up, I can cut the presence up and make it a bit darker. And let's go in the creative. Yeah, the creative category. Let's check this one out. These are actually going to sound good on synths. Then reverb, if I add there's a room reverb here, that sounds pretty good. So, reverbs and stuff, they can easily be added on an effects channel and treated separately instead of as an insert on the instrument. This is usually how I would use them. But, that room sound is actually pretty nice also. But I'm going to keep it on parallel saturation comp. But I also have delays, by the way, that I can use. All right, so let's listen to the guitar in the context of the mix. It's in the background. All right, so now let's go and listen to one of the electric guitars that I have here. On this one, I have the LANDR FX Electric, and I chose the chorus lead preset. If I bypass it, I'm gonna bring it down. Now it's back up. And again, my intention is not to add that preset and that effect, like to 100%. I just want to blend it correctly. So I think that adds a very nice vibe to this guitar sound. Now there's also, now I'm in the effects category, there's also EQ, Creative, which has a bunch of different presets. So if we listen to the 70s guitar, now note that this signal at the moment is also going into a delay effects channel. So I'm just going to mute it for now. So there's, different tones, different vibes, different sounds. Okay, so it gives you an idea. There's reverbs, of course, delays also, and effects. I'm going to go back to my chorus lead effect, bring that down a bit, and I'm going to bring back my effects channel where I used an instance of LANDR FX Electric, and I used the shimmer delay 1/8 of a note on its own. So, it's a nice delay, kind of like it. It has a very nice tone. All right, so next, let me check what I have. There's a pad here. On this one, I used the FX Acoustic. Look at that, dreamy chorus. Let's add this one up. It's a blend of 50%. Bypass it. All right, on this one, that's another synth. And I use the LANDR FX Electric, and this time around the lush chorus. That's pretty cool. Okay, now let's listen to the vocal. What I did here, because I wanted to try a vocal, so I just used a sample, like a loop, that comes from the, let me check here. It comes from the Bloom Voice sample library by Steinberg, and I used some of the vocal lines for this video. So let's have a quick listen with the unprocessed signal. I'm just going to bring that closer. So same with LANDR Voice, different colors, same type of plugin. So there's the vocals presets where I have a Pop Diva. This one's actually pretty cool. I'm going to have you listen to it in a second. We have EQ again, a reverb, delay, compression, a saturation, effects, So if I try the old radio effect, the megaphone, that's pretty cool. The filtered background, let's tame it. There you go. Old-timey backgrounds. That's nice. So there's a bunch of different effects within that preset. There's reverbs, there's kind of a phasing effect going on, a delay, slapback delay or something. Yeah, there's a bunch of different spices that can actually sound very good. Okay, I'm gonna go back and listen to the Pop Diva. Okay, let's try this one out. I'm the love of my life. Okay, if I bring this one fully wet. I'm the love of my life. So it's kind of a fully processed pop vocal effect with the delay, reverb and stuff. But I just want to blend it to taste. I'm the love of my life. All right, let's listen to the whole thing. I'm the love of my life. If I bypass it. I'm the love of my life. I'm the love of my life. Excellent. Okay, the back vocals, I have two instances of LANDR. The first one is the long ping pong delay, okay, which is this one. It sounds actually pretty good. That's pretty nice. And then I have also the D harsh. Since that vocal was a bit harsh to begin with, I just tame that down and make it a bit darker with this preset. Okay, if I bypass both plugins. Let's bring the effects. Okay, one last thing I want to show you. On each of these plugins, you can resize the GUI, okay? You can bring it to 75%, 100%, or 150% if you want to make it bigger, okay? So you have access to that. And also, you can modify the input level and the output level. Getting into the plugin. Okay, so that is other controls that you have. But for everything else, it's based on presets and the blend knob. Okay, so this is what this plugin is about. On my side, my thoughts on working with these plugins, they're tools like any other types of plugins. They can be very useful in the mixing situation, in the pre-production situation, like in my case where I just laid down a few tracks to work on a music idea. I just wanted to have like a quick, more processed rough mix, and using these plugins in this case brought me from A to Z in a very fast way. In a professional mixing situation, these plugins are going to be useful as any other plugins, sometimes just to spice things up on one instrument by blending like a preset or a processed signal with the original signal, adding a bit of character, vibe, tone, like any other plugins or combination of plugins. The cool thing is that working with these type of presets, especially the more creative type of presets, is opening doors to more creative sounds, or maybe stuff that I wouldn't think of trying, So working with these types of creative presets can be useful in a mixing situation and also while producing music. Now, to be honest, one knob plugins like these are not the types of plugins I would insert on all channels, of course, but I like to have access to creative options when I mix also, and these can be very handy, and I actually started to work with them in my past mixes. So let me know what you think. Do you work with one knob plugins like these? Let me know in the comment section, and also if you want to try them out yourself, I'm going to leave the link down below. There's a 7-day trial period. If you do so, come back and leave a comment and let me know how that went on your side. All right, my friend, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Until next time, take care and see you.